So you found the skeleton. How would you tell it's a dinosaur? You personally, how would you decide?
Well, interesting question. I don't know. I'd have to do some research on this.
All right. Hey, everybody. I am back to texture my Pliosaur. So we can see we get a color reference here. So I'm going to be basing it on this. One thing you guys didn't see is that I'll bring the high poly model back. Add this guy. So I noticed that we've got these big prominent fins, but nothing really that's analogous to them. So I thought, what would be something that's entirely speculative, but like plausible? And so I figured two little scales here, and I can just excuse it as saying, oh, it helps with stability a little bit, even though it creates extra drag. I don't know. It was just something. So the first thing we're going to do is take a look at my actual final lower poly model. I went with sort of a medium polygon count on this one. So this is actually my model that I did the retopology on that you guys got to see last time. Then I subdivided it with one level and applied a shrink wrap modifier to the original high poly model. I'm doing that because, unfortunately, Blender 2.8 doesn't actually have a way to bake height maps off of a separate model. So, yeah, I applied all my modifiers, and I have UV unwrapped. Let's check out the UVs. UV, where'd it go? UV editor, here we go. So it's symmetrically UV unwrapped. You can see like we got the face, part of the face here, and we got flipper parts all over the place. So yeah, we're gonna bake a normal map first. So that's gonna be our first thing, which means we need to get into the shader editor because I don't actually have a texture applied to this. We also need to change the texture at least on, or sorry, not the texture, but the model at least on our high poly version, because right now they're both using the same texture. We're going to switch this to be a default. Just get a default default material. Sorry. So with that selected, we're going to shift select here to make my low poly version the active model. Then we're gonna go over to which, see, they changed everything around in 0.8. Now I don't remember where everything is. Bake, here we go. So we're gonna go for normal, selected to active. I always find 16 is a little bit excessive, so oh, actually just change it to 8. So yeah, that should probably be okay-ish. Hey, Nikki. All right. So let's give it a bake and see what kind of oh, wait. Gotta actually add the texture in. All right, yep. I was gonna say, let's see what horrible error we get this time. And this is exactly what the error was gonna be. It's like, oh, there's no texture to bake to. Well, now there is. There we go. No valid selected objects. I hate you sometimes. There we go. Bake. Aha! Alright, so how's everybody doing? This might take a little bit of time. I'm baking a 4K normal map, so how's everybody? Yeah, Benthoven is a rock star. In fact, actually, Bent, why don't you leave a link in the chat for your band? And also, oh, hey, we got a pretty quick bake, but it's terrible. That is the worst. All right, so let's see. How are we gonna fix this guy? Ray distance, there's our problem. Ray distance is too low. Give it 0.01 and we'll rebake that. So this is always just a little tricky. You just gotta dial it in. there's no magic to this. You just try a few different numbers until you get one that works. Yeah, so speaking of links, I am going to, if you want to vote for Katie Joy Polson for DFOTY on account of her numerous, like lies and false accusations of crimes, or at least allegations of crime with no evidence. We're gonna have to up this a little bit. Let's give it a 5. Yeah, here is a link. So, if you like or dislike the video that I just linked, you will be voting for Katie Joy Polson for DFOTY. So, give it a go. It's just a blank video on Res Rhetoric's channel. It does virtually nothing other than allow you to vote. Okay, so that's too low, so let's double this actually. Let's go 0.03. Yep. Yeah, I know Kyle is still the favorite to win, but Kyle at least has had the I mean, I don't think he should be shutting up. I think he should be saying something. Like, come on, dude. But on the other hand, at least it's not making him look any stupider. Alright, so it's almost there. Let's bring it up to 0.04, and we'll bake it once more, and we should get a decent bake out of this. Thanks, Spence. Yeah, she is picking on our resident 17-year-old Cheshire. Yeah. Oh my goodness, it's almost there, but there's this one little stupid corner. I hate that. At least it's not taking a year and a day to get this out of here. So this is what's going to be transferring our, like, really high definition stuff onto the model. All that nice little texture that I put in there, like, you can see all the skin texture and stuff. This is how we're going to fake that on the final model. Thought Riley was a shoo-in. I mean, there is some really tough competition this year. Kyle and Katie. I mean, look, JM Truth, Anthony Riley are all making really good showings for just being so unbelievably dumb. Okay, here we go. This is good. All right, so this is oh, you gotta be kidding me. Are you kidding me? I hate you, computer. Fine. I'll increase it 0.047. The problem is you don't want to make it too high because then you get the opposite problem where you get basically this is telling me Blender how far away should the rays be cast from the surface of my low poly object to see and figure out what the normal should be. But if you get something where it's actually going to show you the inverse side of the normal, you're going to get these weird reversed colors. And those are really hard to fix without just fixing your ray distance. But if you put it too high, you'll get the same problem. So you have to get it just right. And like I said, there's really no way to predict what's going to be just right. At least no way that's actually faster than just doing what I'm doing, which is just slowly dial in the ray distance. And then look for errors. And this is where we've been having most of our errors, so let's check again. Finally. Alright, there we go. So this will work. We're going to hide our high poly model again. Let's see, we're going to switch to look dev. I'm going to see how this looks. So let's add in a vector, normal map, put the color on the color, put the normal on the normal. And oh, it looks all crazy. So why are you doing this to me, game? Not game, but you know what I mean. I had to check something. Color space. Oh, you know what? We're gonna save this and then we're gonna figure some stuff out. Alright, so we're gonna save this image as, we're gonna go into Blender files, new folder, okay. Textures, save it in here. Yep, as .norm png. We're gonna save it. Yeah, 8-bit color depth. And even put in 32-bit float. So here we go. Non-color. Fixed it. Hooray! I just actually didn't know how to change it to non-color data because, well, Blender 2.8 is differenty. So there you go. So now, as you can see, it's actually got that shading information from the high poly model. So we got all this nice skin texture. We got the ridges on these scales. Everything is wonderful there, which means it is now time for us to do some coloring, which also means I'm going to turn this subsurface off because I don't want it to interfere. Okay, so next thing we're going to do is I'm going to make a new image. It's going to be a 2K image because this color pattern isn't super complicated, right? So we're going to call it color, and just to make things easier on myself, I'm going to pick, well, I'm gonna, let's see, first I'm gonna pick this color, then I'm gonna Control C that hex code, make the new divide by 2, paste in here. We're gonna call it color. All right. So next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna duplicate this, get this back to sRGB, open color, put it in as the base color, and there. Why are you doing weird color? Is that gonna help? That was weird. I don't know why it switched this to color. Whatever. Yeah, there we go. I have no idea why that happened. Sorry about that. Okay, so next up, it's time to go into color paint mode, which means I don't need this anymore. So we're gonna set this to be another 3D viewport. We can put it on look dev. So this can be another view. We're gonna make it tiny. This will be the actual image that we're working with. So, texture paint. Here we go. First thing I'm going to do is let's get this red stuff blocked in. Actually, you know what? No, let's get the white. The white's going to be fairly easy, but we're going to need a new texture because just painting a fuzzy circle isn't going to be good enough. So here we go. Let's make this a noise texture. See how it looks. No. Also, we're changing this from mix to lighten. Yeah, that'll work. Okay, but we need to, this is just terrible. Let's change it to clouds. Okay, there we go. That's a little bit better. Let's up the size a little bit. Noise a little bit. And a color ramp. Make the black section just a little bit bigger. Not that big. White section's just a little bit bigger. Okay, here we go. So, I'm going to say that this spot here is going to be sort of over the temporal fenestra. So we're going to give it one of these treatments. Zoom in a little bit more. Okay. Not that fun. Okay. pretty nice. There we go. There's one. This one we're going to put a little bit behind the ear, I think. Not a good idea. Yeah, that's fine. Here. Okay. Next up, we're going to do... Oh, yeah. Get white all along here. And that's going to go back to before the limbs. We're going to block out where we want this right now. All right, here. All right, and I'm going to be doing something special with the red because I've seen a few things where the red on particular Pokemon was actually glow in the dark, and while that might not be the super most realistic thing ever for a Pliosaur, because I'm pretty darn confident there were no glow in the dark Pliosaurs, this one's going to be glow in the dark just because you know what? I can. Because this is the world of make-believe, and I don't care what you think. So, well, so it's closer to whales, sort of, but if you look at it, it doesn't have a fluke, and it has prominent hind things, limbs, I don't know. Plus, I don't want to make a whale. So, there you go. I don't want to make one. Ooh, yeah, we're gonna make this nice and white up the chin. Yay. Right. Actually, I'm going to change this mapping to random. Yeah, that's better. That's the behavior that I really want, is random. Because you make it tiled, and I mean, that's okay, but it also means that if I go back over places, it doesn't really lighten it up the way I want it to. Alright, so that's pretty good. So we've also got these little stripes here that are between the limbs. So we're going to zoom that down a little bit. Yep. Nice stripes. Stripes. Oh, see that? Nice little stripes. Okay. Those go far up enough? Let's get them a little bit farther up. Okay. There we go. Now I've also got digits here. And I've decided that what I'm going to do for the digits is I'm actually going to make them more white marks, because it's a little bit more in line with the whole Pliosaur thing. Well, so they could be the fluke, right? But they don't look like a whale fluke. I mean, they have what looks sort of like some kind of digits on them, and they stick out to the side, and then there's a tail that goes past them, and none of that really says whale to me. I mean, the head certainly looks like a whale. I mean, it looks like it's got a melon. But yeah, there's something weird about that fluke thing and these little weird spines, where I'm just like, I don't know if I'm willing to buy whale as the option there. But we are also going to get the inside of the mouth to be sort of a pinkish color. And that is just going to be on mix. Where'd you go, mix? Why can't I find anything? Multiply. Oh, there it is. I'm just an idiot. Let's get here. You know, you want to have the inside of the mouth be sort of a fleshy color, because animals tend not to have very much pigment on there. One of the exceptions, though, is baby birds, who have some strong pigmenting on what's called the gape, which is the inside of a bird's mouth. And one of the big reasons for this is because it is a visual cue for the parents to feed them. So there you go. So sometimes birds will have red or blue or orange insides of the mouth that don't just look like flesh. Okay, and we're gonna color pick here. It's gonna, whoops. Let's actually color pick. Come on, color pick. Why are you doing funny things like this? Strength. Huh. We're gonna get rid of this brush for now. We're just gonna use this. There you go. Okay, so, and then let's go to change this from draw to, hey. Oh, here we go. Soften. Just gonna make that really strong. We're just gonna soften up this edge here. Just so it's not so sharp. Soften that a little bit. I don't really care too much about the exact details in here. I'm gonna soften it up. Okay, nice and soft. All right, and then let's switch back to draw. Bring the texture back. Switch back to white color. Let's bring the saturation. And we're going to switch this back from mix to lighten. So there you go. Yeah, so Stephen Ross, when I set it to mix, it changes the behavior. So lighten will just brighten whatever I'm painting on. So this is not actually, this is just lightening things, right? But if I keep that behavior and I put it on red, see how it just makes it a lighter version of that? It doesn't actually change it to that particular red color that I made. But on the other hand, if I change it from lighten to mix and then I boom, then it's actually painting on the color that I've selected. So yeah, there's definitely a difference there. Saturation. So we got 4 of these little marks. So I'm going to put one on the leading edge of the flipper. One on the trailing edge, then 2 sort of on the distal points. And then we're gonna go and continue them down. Actually, I'm gonna switch to solid for this because I can't really see that clean lighting. Oh. Mark other side of the flipper. I should have masked that. So let's see. Zoom in a little bit. Get out of perspective mode, go into orthographic mode. Oh, I got some streaking here too. I'll just fix that later. Not too big of a deal. Okay. Oh, and I'm in mix. I want to be enlightened. Come on, guys. By guys, I mean me. I'm the one who screwed that up. All right. Yeah. All right. Got our here. I'm gonna go grab this again, and we're gonna back to mix just so I can tidy this up a little bit because these got a little bit. Oops. Got a little. Oh yeah. Okay. Got a little bit messy. Side. Clear that up. A little bit of leak over on this. Tidy that a little bit. Okay. Dark Knight Apologetics is here, so now the party can in fact start. I mean, yeah, Big Pinnipet. Look, there are a lot of options as to what this Pokemon could be, but I like Pliosaurs, so we're going with Pliosaur. I'm not saying that this is actually a reasonable representation of this thing. Like, you know, it's whatever. So here's the special thing we're gonna do for the red. So let's switch this back to a shader editor. So here's the deal, right? We're gonna do image, new image, We go with emit. And it's going to start off as a black image. Okay. Oh, and then we're also going to save this image. Color, yep. And then we're going to change the file path here from internal to the actual color. So that way, if I save, quit, and come back, we still get it. So here's the idea here. Duplicate this, select the emit. Then I'm going to add a emission shader. Oh, no. Gotta get the add shader in first. I know what I'm doing. I've played this, done this before. I don't know. Emission. Put this. So right now we're gonna set this to emit red. Out of here green, out of here blue. But it's going to have a strength determined by this plus a multiply node, which means I can set this multiply value as the actual strength. Because values above 1 will actually increase the strength of the emission once I actually draw. So we're going to switch this back to emit. Texture paint. I'm actually going to have to come out of texture paint. Back into texture paint. Okay, no. I actually do kind of want this guy back though. Switch it to this. Saturation out of there. In fact, actually, I'm going to bring my saturation down to 0. Okay. Now let's test this. All right, so that should be emitting. One of the ways that we can check this is just by turning the world lighting down, which is what we're yeah, see that? That's going to emit. All right. Okay, so let's get this. So we're going to do the whole top of the mouth here. Get this. Yeah, glow-in-the-dark pliosaurs, man. Because the regular ones weren't scary enough. Okay, but it's also going to cover around the eye area. Kind of come up from here. This. Come back down to here. Oh. Nice. Very nice. Okay, we're gonna have to do some work on these guys. Everyone has their own way of blendering, man. You know, not everyone's gonna do the same thing. This is gonna come up and do sort of the top of these guys. So we're gonna all along here, and then it's gonna go to either side of these streaks. Oh. Too many sharp edges. We meet at the bottom. Start. No, that's not. Here we go. Oh. So, FQ, how do you... What's the big difference for you in blendering? What's the big thing you do differently? All right, let's get a circle on here. Here. Circle. Get this to 3D port so I can actually see what I'm doing here. All right, so we got a weird little A thing in here. Okay. And that gonna come narrow it down a little bit. A little bit interpretive here, but gonna come here, here. And I'm keeping the lines a little bit more, like I'm not trying to get very straight lines because I want this to have sort of that feeling where like there's actually some animal that is like this. Because, you know, obviously this has very clean lines and the look I'm going for is significantly less, less of a cartoon, I guess. I've already done more than Game Freak did with their last Pokemon game. Ouch. Harsh words. Harsh words. Poor Game Freak. So here's the thing about Pokedexit, if you will. Right? So let's say you're Game Freak, and you know that you currently have 980 Pokemon that you want to put, or that people want you to put in your next game. Right? Okay. Eventually, you're going to have to make a Pokemon game that's going to be a mainline Pokemon game that just isn't going to have them all. It just can't. Right? So what do you do? Like, really? What do you do? And the answer is, I don't know, you're going to have to cut some. It's just good. It's just going to have to happen. Like, there aren't other options here. All right, so let's, we're going to go, image, we're going to save this as emit, and then we're going to do a little bit more fancy stuff with the shader. Because basically, that is the texture painting pretty much done. But we're going to make the shader a little bit fancier. So let's go to the node editor. And here's the other thing we're going to do is we're going to have another color node. Mix. I'm going to say this is going to be all just straight up red. Red. Okay. And the mix factor is going to be another one of these guys. Actually, we're going to change the file path here real quick. Change it to this. So this file path, but this one should be non-color data, and this one should be, why are you, something off. Oh. Okay. I go praying. Oh, that's just why. Never mind. I'm just an idiot. Why you do this to me? What am I? Oh, I'm in texture paint mode. That could be it. I'm just being an idiot. Okay. So here we go. We got this. It's going all right. This into the factor. Could work. Oh, this is the wrong. Dang, this is color. Why didn't anyone tell me? You would have added procedural textures on the roughness. Well, I might still paint procedure or use procedural texture on the roughness. That's the thing that may still happen. Okay, there we go. So that's making that actually be nice and red. And then it's in the sRGB color space. Doesn't really matter. Going into a factor, so that really shouldn't actually be. It should just be non-color. I don't need 2 of these. Put that into here. Plug that into here. And there we go. So this gives it a stronger red color because not only is the glow red, but also the actual diffuse texture is now red. So if we just switch it to just the principled BSDF, you can see that that's just a regular old blue color or red color that's actually now being applied on top. But I can use the same texture to drive an emit texture, or an emit that's added in, and then we get glowiness. And actually, yeah, for roughness, I'm actually going to change up the roughness a little bit. So what we're going to do is, oh, and here's a demonstration. So if I switch to rendered mode, this will make it a little bit easier. I can up the strength of this emission by putting this in. So it gets brighter. We can see that if I put like just a little cube near it. All right, so let's turn off the environment real quick. So now all we have is the emission shader here. So if I put this at, say, 1, you don't get very much light. If I put it at, say, 50, it's lighting up that cube, all just from the texture. So probably going to put it at like 1.5. Bring back the environment texture. I don't need this cube. So my problem with the circle being pretty distal on the flipper is it needs to connect to these digits. And I don't want to have to snake it all the way down from like the medial point on the flipper all the way down, so it gets to be distal too. Basically, I'm just being like, how much work do I really want to put in to make this look exactly like this? And the answer is a medium amount of work. Yeah, a medium amount. Let's switch over to here. So we're going to do some more fancy stuff. Shader editor on here. Here we go. All right, so let's add in a noise texture. This is just a temporary emission shader that I'm using just to look at my noise texture. I'm gonna up that scale a whole bunch. Oh. Detail can stay low. I don't really care about that. And a color ramp, because I want bottom to actually be fairly light. 0.5. The top doesn't actually need to be all the way up. All right, so now it's almost invisible what's going on, but what I'm actually going to do is I'm just going to go roughness. Just to give us a little variation in how the light plays off of the thing. Just a little bit, just a touch. Okay. Next up, we're gonna bring this up to 1. Give us a little bit of that subsurface scattering. Yeah, terrifying with lights out. Yeah, well, that's sort of the plan, is to make it. We don't really need this anymore because it's pretty much the colors I want. The other thing we need to do though is we need to get this thing to have a eye color. I'm not going to paint that in Blender because that. Why would I? No. We're not painting that in Blender. That's stupid. So what we're going to do is we're going to paint it in GIMP. And we're just going to give it a 1K texture because the eyes are really small and I don't need it to have like a 4K eye texture just to get a yellow eye. But the other thing is, should the eyes glow? Type 1 in the chat if you think it should glow. Type 2 if you don't think it should glow. Let me see what we got in the chat. All right, so let's add in a, come on, go. New 1024 1024. That's a lot of ones so far. Ones are winning. All right, let's get yellow color. It'd be sort of a little bit on the orangey side. A little bit. Okay. And then we're gonna get sort of a chaotic brush like this. Yeah, there we go. What we're gonna do is we're just gonna sort of okay. Blur. Zoom motion blur. We're gonna, yeah, up that blurring factor quite a bit. Okay, that looks pretty good. All right. Hey, Illuminati done. Despise GIMP. Hey, you know what? GIMP has a big advantage on a lot of other things. Is free. So we're gonna call this Iris. Let's see. This guy. So one thing that I always forget about GIMP is that it has different hotkeys than Blender. So, oh, and I don't want the paintbrush. So, enter this. And hey, look, a pupil. All right. But next up, we need sclera. For this, we are going to have a circle select. Select here. Yeah, that's probably good. Select invert. Select. There we go. Invert. There we go. Then we're gonna feather the selection by like, I don't know, 5 pixels. And then there we go. An eye texture. Look at that. Quick, no fuss eye texture. Using 3 layers and like 1 filter. And you know what? It's good enough. It's not great, but it's good enough. Okay, so we're gonna export. We're gonna go to E drive, Blender files. Go down to K. We're gonna call it. Okay. I'm gonna hop back into Blender, and I believe I have already UV unwrapped these. So yeah, I didn't really face them the way they really should be, but whatever. So, as for materials, I don't know why they have Pliosaur skin as one of the materials. They really shouldn't, but that's okay. So we're gonna add a image texture. Open. Get out of here. We're in Blender files, so no. Connect it to the color. Hey, look, horrifying eyeballs. Let's let's fix this a little bit. This is just, oh my goodness, that's this. Ugh. Not scary. That's just duh. I don't even know. So yeah, we're gonna go to the UV editor. Oh, not that. There's a shader editor. This guy. Here we go. UV editor. Select all of these. That's a little bit better. It's still kind of horrifying, but whatever. All right, I'm gonna add in another add shader, another emission shader. Ooh, this is gonna be the color emission shader. So now, horrifyingly enough, even with the lights off, which we can do real quick. Yeah, those eyes glow in the dark, but we're actually going to turn it down a little bit because that's a little bit excessive. I don't need them to be at 2 or at 1. I'm going to turn it down to like 0.4. This is going to be subtle. This is a subtle effect. Yeah, look at that. All right, so now give it a basic rig. We're not going to give this a very complicated rig. Get the light up a little bit just so I can see what the heck I'm doing. All right. I don't really need any of this stuff, so we're gonna get rid of these. We're gonna add in a, come on, just go away. There we go. So we are going to add an armature. Maybe single bone at first. Let's make it in the front port display. In front. Okay. So this is going to be our up to the pectoral girdle. One for the pectoral girdle. We're going to subdivide this later, but it's going to be for the head. Add it here. And then I'm going to add it here. Get a jaw. So we're going to make it later so that these two can't really move independently of this one, but they're just sort of they're basically there so that I don't have to do too much work on the actual weight painting. So we'll get a couple for the body, one for the pelvic girdle. We're going to subdivide this a few times. Subdivide, let's give it 4. Okay. Yeah, we're not going crazy on this rig, guys. Oh. Come on. This is just basically going to be for the whole flipper. Also, I'm going to switch this stick, I think. Where is the change the shape thing? There we go. Sorry, a little bit of a thing. Thank you. I find it frustrating. I want to do something basic that is managed in Photoshop in 5 seconds, and in GIMP, I'm googling a tutorial and swearing a lot. Programmer and I aren't on the same wavelength. Yeah, no, I get that. That'll happen. And actually, I just realized I need something. I'm actually trying to give this 2 little joints here. So we're gonna go. Well, that'll give me a little bit more sort of range of motion there. Yeah, that'll work. Okay. And then we'll do another. Do something similar here. Except you are going to be parented to this. You need to stop being in the wrong place. You. Okay, that is an extremely basic rig. We're gonna cursor to world origin, change our rotation point to this. Come on, there we go. S, X minus 1, look at that. X mirrored. Okay. And I'm being super lazy. I'm not even gonna name the bones, because I don't care. Alright, so Control P. Actually, no, we're gonna the eyes, the teeth, and the body. Control P. Yeah, that's fine. Control P. Oh, wait, no. Gotta get the armature in there. There we go. With automatic weights. At which point. Oh, no. Go to pose mode. Pose mode. There we go. Hey, look. I can move a flipper. I can move a jaw. Yay. Alright, so. Let's see how this. Oh, change the pivot point to median point. A horrifying, horrifying visage of doom. So, now that I can move this guy, look at that. Coming along. Give it a little bit of an arc. We're gonna do some flow lines here. So I am not getting this ready for animation. Like, if I were, I would do a lot more work on this. Illuminati Dawn, you've been recording how Kent Hovind has been blocking PMY? My comments on YouTube. There's another YouTube channel to show how my comments don't show up of one of my videos. Interesting. All right, we are going to do a couple things here. We're going to give each of these tail bones 2 segments, just so that it's a little bit smoother. Because right now, I mean, you know, we're also going to give the neck 2 segments. I'll just give it a little bit more natural range of motion. I'm also up here going to add in a corrective smooth. We're only going to repeat it a couple times, or well, 3, just to make sure that the shapes don't get a little bit too out of hand. But yeah, bring these forward. Tilt it a little bit. Here we're going to tilt it a little. Gonna sort of mirror that. Doesn't have to be exact. A little more. And just then we're gonna give the body a little bit. We're actually gonna start to come back. Okay, so now we have a pretty cool. We'll turn off the armature distracting. All right. There we go. Let's get rid of the environment. I'm gonna add in a lamp light on. Going to have. Why can't I see you? What? Light point? Hey man, why you Why are you invisible? Okay, well, it's not invisible in rendered mode, which is weird. Oh, you know what? It's because I don't have this set to use scene lights, because I'm a dummy. There we go. Sun lamp. Get out of here. Alright, so let's find a good spot for the camera. We're going to set back to a normal resolution. Oh. Actually, I'm going to double that. So we're going to get a nice 4K-ish image. Okay. So. Okay. Want a low angle. Also want enough of an angle that what's going on with our it looks like it'll probably work. Okay. Next up, we're going to add in a cube. I know you're thinking, like, why would you add a cube? What's the cube? Trust me, I have a reason for adding the cube. Because what we're going to do is, we're going to change this material to have no surface, but it is going to have a volume. First, we're going to start out with a scatter. Subsurface scattering. Ugh. A volume scatter. There we go. But we need to turn that density down, because that's crazy. That's pretty good, though. Okay. Yep. Get this back to be a shader editor. So, next up, it's some light. The light. There we go. Okay. I still want the shadows to be mostly vertical. But the question is, what direction do I want? This way. Help imply the motion there through the thing. Okay. Now let's add color with it. You can do whatever. We're going to go back to our shader editor. Volume absorption. Okay, this one's going to go to a nice bluish color. All right. Are Borg starting to? I don't think it looks much like the Borg, but maybe I'm wrong. Okay, let's up the strength of our sun lamp. Now sort of low. Actually, this is sort of the area where we might need to start to turn back to actual rendered. Yeah, so that sun's having trouble getting through the light. Up that a little bit. Actually, we don't really need this big of a cube is the other problem. Okay, so this cube really only needs to be big enough so that it fills up the entire camera. I want this side of the cube. Thank you. All right, and we're actually going to parent it to the camera so that it always moves around with the camera. Oh, we do want it to envelop the entirety of the Pliosaur. Yep, so that way we'll get those nice streaky shadows. Okay, and we're gonna control P, parent to object, transform. Okay. That'll work. It was a cube that looked like a Borg ship. I guess the cube looked like a cube. Borg ships are often cubes. I don't know. All right, but we also want to get some red glow in here. So one of the things that we can do with that is we can up this value. So let's get it up to 4. We'll start to get some red glow into the actual volume, just to make it a little bit cooler and a little bit more realistic and a little bit more my computer's going to hate me. We're also going to up the direct. What are we looking for? Up this to 2 bounces for volumetrics. So there we go. There's that. But I also want a little bit more streakiness on the shadows. So what we're going to do is we're going to add what's called a gobo. So we're just going to get a plane, move it up to around where we want it. You can already see this is causing little streaky shadows, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to... And I know what you're saying, oh, that's going to put the whole thing in shadow. Yeah, well, give me a second. We're going to subdivide this. Am I in edit mode? There we go. Subdivide, like, I don't know, 50 times. On face selection, deselect. We're going to select random. Not vertices, faces. Delete the faces. And then, hey, look. Come in here, and it's all random and streaky, but it's a little bit much. So we can dial in the degree to which that effect is prominent by raising it a little bit, because yeah, then the shadows will be a little bit softer. And it's also going to be less prominent in cycles, because cycles does a better job at everything except being fast. So there we go. Actually give our lamp a little bit of a sun color. So currently, do I have 2 lamps? Hold up a sec. What is this lamp? Okay, well, what is this lamp? Oh. Well, I want one of you. It's gonna be you, because I said so. Alright, let's get this lamp up. Strength. Also means we're gonna have to move this guy. It's too much. Maybe I don't actually need a gobo on this. I don't know. We'll see how this looks on its own. So we'll take this sun lamp. We're going to give it a black body color. So the color is going to be nodes. There we go. 1, 5. All right, we're gonna use a black body, and we're gonna use 5,750, which is sunlight-ish. So there you go. Sunlight-ish. What we're gonna call that. And also, we're gonna make sure that our color management is in the right right color space. High contrast. Let's check some of the other. Very high contrast. Check this. Actually, in this, I'm going to turn this density down. Which also means I need to point. Yeah, because you want there to be that nice sense of like aerial perspective with the depth. Okay, that's pretty good. But there's another thing, which is that you know, it's never really just cloudy water. There's always gonna be particulates, right? I want to add in some particulates so that it actually looks like I just want to turn down the sunlight a little bit too bright. Bring this down to 3.5. Yeah, that's pretty good. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to add some little tiny objects as a particle system emitting from this that will just exist to give us some particulates in the clouds, like the water. So we're going to switch to dev is fine. Okay, so one thing I need to do is make a little object. It's going to be our object that we're going to use for the particle system, and we're going to use a icosphere. Only one subdivision because I don't want to make my computer cry too much, just a little bit. Okay, then over here we're going to go add in a new particle. Yep. Just going to call this plankton. It's going to be the emitter. We'll see how 1,000 goes, but the source is going to be volume. Lifetime is going to be like really, really long. Physics. Oh, physics. Forces. Field weights, that's what we want. Gravity doesn't affect it at all. Just no gravity. Get gravity. Gravity is stupid. Hashtag flat earth or something. I don't know. All right, so we want it to emit all of these on like first and second frame. So there we go. But they're too big. So one of the things we're going to do is, oh, actually they're not anything yet, because we have not set what they are. So we need to change them to be for the emitter. They're going to be an object, and that object is going to be my icosphere. All right, so these are going to be little bits of plankton floating in the water, right? But they're too big, and the icosphere also needs to be set to shade, smooth shading. So object, shade smooth, which will also affect the little planktony bits. Okay, so they are entirely too big. I want them to be quite a bit smaller. So particle, we're gonna up the randomness, which will actually shrink some of them, but not evenly. Then we're just gonna dial down. Here we go. Also going to make it so that the eye is going to be the most in focus thing by adding in an empty line axis. Fine, and we're going to call this focal point. Then with the camera selected, we're going to go to the camera properties, depth of field, focal point. Get a fairly low f-stop, so let's try 1.2.
not bad. Yeah, it looks in the end. Some of these are still a little bit big. I'll get these smaller. So let's get this here. What we're going to do is we're actually going to up the number so that the density stays about the same, but we're going to drop the size again. Particles. Scale these down. And let's up this to 3,000. Alright, that's a good few. None of them will look too out of place, I don't think, in the final render. They're a little bit weird, but... Okay. But I also think we need to do a little bit of weight painting on. So let's hide this cube now. Go to weight paint. And I need to unhide the armature so I can select pose mode. Pose mode, come on. Yeah. So let's hide this right. That hide. There's the armature. Hide this. Oh. 100. Because these don't feel like they're all entirely the weight that I want them to be, which is just 100% on the lower jaw or the bottom teeth. Actually, why am I doing this in paint mode when I could just do it? This doesn't. All right, let's turn this up so I can see what the heck. Like, oh, that moody light. Yeah, it's cool until you want to do something useful. All right. That. 50. Okay. Let's turn that modifier back on. Yeah, there's still something a little weird about this. I'm gonna go to weight paint mode here. Oh, come on. Pose mode, weight paint mode. No, that actually looks pretty solid. I'm gonna get rid of it around here on the top of the head because there shouldn't be any there. Be any weight at all on the top jaw, bottom jawbone, or around the eyes, on either side. But looks good. Maybe it's just my imagination and it just actually looked fine. I don't know. Okay, so let's get back to object mode. Turn this world color back off because I don't want you there. Alt-H. Okay. That might work. I'm actually thinking I might turn the f-stop down a little bit more. Make it so that the face is still reasonably... That's part of the problem. It went to the cube. I used the 3D cursor and clicked on the eye, thinking that this cube didn't exist. But then I was like, why is it making the eye all fuzzy when I up down the f-stop? Yep. See, I forget things like that all the time. There's just like, why is it not behaving the way I want it to? And it's just like, oh, it's because you're an idiot and you don't know how to use this technology at all, apparently. All right, that's pretty good. Yeah, but actually, let's get this once again a little bit closer to the camera. Is we're going to turn off scene. Go. So what that'll do is it'll add some of these little particles that are going to be really close, and they'll get that fuzzy look like you see in a lot of like nature photos. So like right here, This guy is really close, but because my f-stop is low, it's going to be nice and fuzzy. So that also means that some of them are still a little bit on the big side on this. So we're going to do, once again, I'm going to down the size a little bit, just to make it so that none of them look like icospheres in the final render. And then we're going to up this a little bit, say to 4,000. Here. Yeah, there we go. That should be nice. Thank you, thank you. So what's gonna happen now is I'm gonna Control S, because yeah, that's a good idea. Let's take a look at a few steps into the render here. All right, not terrible. This density is still a little high on the scatter. We're going to turn it down to 0.025. So I do want there to be some scatter, but I want most of it to be absorption. Okay. Our sun is looking a little on the dark side, so let's up this to... see how that looks. Okay. All right, now we're gonna get a little weird. We're gonna do something. So I'm gonna add in a subtle glow from the bottom. Why? Because I think it'll look good. What does it represent? Nothing. I don't know. It represents me wanting to make this thing look. We're gonna hide the cube for now. And this is gonna have sort of a teal color to it. Up the strength until it actually shows up. Too much. Give it 80. Actually, let's turn off the sun just so we can see what the effect is. So basically, this is sort of acting like a rim light. Because our lighting is strongly vertical, rather than being behind the subject, it's actually going to be under the subject. So we're going to up this to 90. Yeah, that'll be good. So what does this represent in real life? Really nothing. There's no good reason to have this in a semi-realistic picture, except that I think it'll be good to help it define the underneath of the animal. Yeah. That's it. It'll just make that bottom part of the animal pop just a little bit extra. All right, so we are going to save again. I'm actually going to name this lamp. Let's see, we're gonna call this rim light. The sun can say stun, icosphere, we're going to call you plankton. Armature, we're moving you into the Pliosaur collection. We're going to call this volume. Camera can stay camera. All right, everything's been nice and named. We are going to hit that render button, and I am going to grab a quick beverage because all this talking and not having anything to soothe my throat is making me a little bit dry side. So please enjoy. Oh, we're gonna make sure we're on GPU performance. 8 by 128 is fine. Okay. How many samples am I doing right now? We're gonna double that. We're gonna need a lot of samples with all this volumetric stuff. And we're gonna make sure that we have denoising turned on. We're gonna hit render image, and hopefully my computer doesn't crash.
So I will be back in just a second. So I'm back, and as you can probably see, Blender is threatening to take 4 hours on this render, which might actually be accurate. So I think what I'll do is I'm going to double check. I don't think I see super chats, which is cool. So what's probably going to happen is I'm going to finish this render, and then it is going to go up as the thumbnail to this video. I will post it on my community tab. But yeah, I may also put some kind of like link if you want this as something you can download. I'm probably going to do some compositing in post, probably with the actual Blender compositor, because it's actually a pretty good compositor. I like it. But yeah. Oh, you started making dinosaur sprites with with Eagle and Vulture colors for my RPG Maker game I'm making. That's pretty cool. I like that. Actually, I'm gonna find one of my favorite Velociraptor pictures. Because, you know, of course I've got a favorite Velociraptor picture. Why wouldn't you? Let's see what I can do. Computer's like, oh, did you want me to go do fast things? Because the answer is just no. There we go. I really like this one. It does pretty much everything I would want it to do. It's got nice little whisker-like feathers. The feathers are pretty. They form a nice little sort of contour on the animal. They aren't just sticking out all crazy. Yeah. Overall, it's pretty. Yeah, that's one of my favorite Velociraptor pictures. Here you go. So yeah, I'm not gonna sit here and stream for the next 4 hours while this goes. So, yeah, check back on my channel, and this will be the thumbnail for this video when it's done, and I'll also post it as a image on my community tab. So, yeah, you'll get to see that. It'll be cool. Yeah. Thanks for coming and showing up for me to texture my Pokemon Pliosaur. And we'll look again at those textures real quick.
that'll be something that we can, if my computer lets me. Computer? No, you're just gonna be super slow. On. There we go. Yeah, rendering can take up a lot of computing power. I don't know if you know. Okay, Blender files. There's actually some files in here I need to get rid of. But you know, the why not? Why am I not going to be on here for the next 4 hours? Is because I have plans during the next 4 hours. So, yeah. That is the why not. Alright, so let's take a look at our textures. Go one by one through. Yeah, my computer's being super... Sorry, the evil Scotsman. But I have plans with like other people that I don't intend on breaking, because I don't, and I feel like I don't like it when people break plans with me when there isn't a good reason. I'm just like, nope, just not gonna do it, or there's a bad reason. I don't have any of those. So we got the eye texture that we made in GIMP. I made in GIMP, let's be honest. That was pretty quick, but I think it worked. This is a low res version of the color texture. So you can see how the UV unwrapping affected that. Yep. Pretty neat. This is the texture that drives both the red on the diffuse, as well as the strength of the red glow. Oh, you can see fins over here. We got the mouth over here. Good stuff. And finally, we have the normal map, which I baked from my high-res version. And as I'm looking at it, I notice it actually does have a few little problems here, but that's like on the inner ear, and you're not going to see that anyway. Oh, you're going to catch up on Bent's Mass Effect playthrough? Yeah, he's up to the second game. I think he did his second stream of Mass Effect 2 last night. Bent, I'm not sure if you're still here. If you are, let people know whether or not you're going to be in if you're going to be doing another stream. Oh, and we just got a thank you for the €3 super sticker with the thumbs up from Jens van Broekhoven. Yes, please at some point on like Patreon or something, send me the pronunciation guide for your name. Like if you know the International Phonetic Alphabet, just put it in there, because I feel like I never get it right, but I don't actually know. Do that. Putting groceries away, Ben. Come on, you don't need to eat. Eating is for chumps. So, yeah, Blender is still threatening for this to take an entire hour. But we can zoom in and see how this is. I mean, I like it. I don't know. The Pokemon art style is pretty different from my art style. So, yeah. Oh, and Bent, your Twitch address has changed. So please put your new Twitch address in the chat, because currently it was Bentham99, but I think now it's like Bent_Hovend, because you went with the Benthovend label. So yeah, put that in the chat. Let's see. I have been working pretty hard on my next Genesis Apologetics Should Apologize video. That should be out. It's going to be out as soon as possible. That's all I can really say, because it's, yeah. there's not much I can say. It's just taking a long time because it's an animated one. It's gonna be pretty long. It's probably gonna be in the 24 to 25-minute range. A lot of which is me talking. It's probably 60% me giving commentary, unlike that last one, because the last one there wasn't much to say because they didn't really say anything. So yeah, it's gonna be a pretty long one. So it's a pretty labor-intensive process. I've been working 8 to 10 hours a day on it for the past week, basically. Yeah, between script writing, recording, animating, rendering, checking all my frames, on all the frames come out right. So yeah, it's gonna be out next week. Because even if it's not out next week, something will be out next week. So I'm gonna put out a video. Yeah. So also remember, if you're on my Discord, which is the patron Discord, and you find a video that you think I would like to respond to, you can always send it. I can't guarantee it. But yeah, I'm gonna go offline now. I'm probably gonna make a lunch. So thank you everyone for coming. I really appreciate it. Thanks, Jens, for the super sticker. About to say super chat. It's a super sticker. They're different. And stay tuned because, yeah, this picture is going to go out onto my channel. And it'll probably end up on my DeviantArt too, which I'm not going to link because it has a lot of stuff that's completely irrelevant, and it also uses my real name, which isn't really a secret, but I also don't want it to just be something that's available easily on my channel, because me as a person isn't what the channel's about. So thank you all of you guys. I had a lot of fun, and like I said, yeah, this was shorter than the last one, less than half the time. So thank you very much. The Evil Scotsman, it's not 1839 here. It is 11:30. Well, I have 33. I don't know why there's a 6-minute difference there, but all right. Bye, everybody.